Welcome, geniuses. I'm G, your best buddy for A-levels. In this channel, we'll bring you to explore the secret formula behind success. Hello, geniuses. Genius Hub has invited Mingjun again. If you haven't checked out his previous video on achieving top in Malaysia for economics, feel free to click on the link at the top right corner. Today, we will be talking about his process of applying to UK universities. Mingjun is currently studying philosophy, politics and economics, also known as PPE, in the London School of Economics and Political Science, also known as LSE. I know, it's a mouthful. In today's video, he will be sharing with us the specific tips for PPE personal statements, mistakes, and things Mingjun wishes he had known before applying to the course.
Hi guys, it's Mingjun again. My absolute pleasure to talk to you all.
So Mingjun, let's start off with the PPE personal statement. What advice do you have for students who are currently in the midst of writing it?
First of all, I think it's absolutely crucial to acknowledge that you are writing your own piece of essay to portray yourself to the admission officer to show who you really are as a student and as a person. And therefore, you should aim for writing a unique piece of personal statement that truly portrays your inner self and also your intellectual capacity. Now, I think the first tip I would give is to have a clear and organized structure in writing your PS so that you can express your ideas clearly and not mislead the admission officers when they are reading your essay. Now let me give you an example. So in my own personal statement, what I did is I divided my personal statement into 3 equal parts, which I equally express my interest in studying economics, politics and philosophy. And having these organized structures have 2 main benefits. First is that it has a very clear and organized structure, so the admission officer can know where I'm getting at when he or she is reading my essay. And secondly, I also answer the question of why do I choose PPE as a bundle of subjects to study and not do P, and E individually. So that, you see, having a clear and organized structure in writing your PS could definitely give you a very good advantage in terms of how you express your idea. The second tip I would give on PS writing is to fully utilize a piece of knowledge in your mind that you are very passionate and articulate about. So let me give you an example. If you are a feminism passionate, right? So you could use your knowledge about the development of feminism or the justification of feminism as a movement, historical trend to show that you are truly a passionate student about, let's say, politics or philosophy. There you see, admission officers read thousands and thousands of essays every year when it's the admission period. So having this kind of knowledge that you are extremely articulate about enables you to stand out of all your competitors when you're trying to gain a place in the competitive school, and therefore use a knowledge that you are truly passionate in to show that you are a worthy student to those admission officers. And surely, if you have those kind of very specific knowledge that you can talk about in a very articulate way, and they must find your PS very attractive and unique. And that's ultimately the whole point of writing a personal statement at all.
What do you think a student should do prior to writing their personal statement then?
In preparation for writing a good piece of essay, I would definitely suggest you to read more. Now, reading more would give you more ideas and insights for you to advance on when you try to write your PS. And at the end of the day, as a skill, reading also helps you to be more articulate and insightful in your writing. And therefore, reading is absolutely significant and important in writing your essay. For reading material, I suggest you to have a look at your recommended reading list offered by your university choice, because there you will have a rough idea on what to read on. It is also crucial to know that completing those reading lists is not mandatory for most universities, so you shouldn't be too stressed about that. Instead, you can have a few reads on classics or contemporary works, which are definitely insightful as well. For example, you can read 1984 by George Orwell as a very well-known classics to have a rough idea on totalitarianism and how those ideas can also help you in your writing. And also for contemporary wise, you can read Justice Was the Right Thing to Do by Michael Sandel, which will give you a rough idea on how morality and justice works as a philosophical idea. There you see, reading more could give you more insights and ideas on what to write, and definitely advance your analytical skills and make your PS a more readable and wonderful piece. Next, please find teachers or friends to proofread your essay when you have done the first draft of your PS. Now, this is absolutely crucial for students that do not use English as your native language, because our sentences could sometimes sound remote or strange to native speaker, because they sometimes sounds like translations from your native language, and that's definitely not the thing that you want to appear in your PS. And therefore, have those people proofread your essay could make your PS more articulate. However, do not seek too many advices from too many people, because that confuses you at the end of the day. So seek the right amount of advice and have the right amount of correction. That will definitely make your PS a wonderful piece.
In hindsight, do you think you made some mistakes in your application process? And would you like to tell us about it?
I think the biggest mistake I've made in my application process is I underestimated the rigorosity of the entire application process of this university application. And now let me give myself as an example. In fact, I applied to Oxford to read PPE there, but I had an unbearable amount of burden on myself because I took both Oxford PPE and SAT at the same time. So I took my SAT exam the day before my Oxford PPE interview, and therefore I did not have enough time to prepare for my interview. And what's more devastating is that I flew to England to conduct my interview right after I took my exam, and therefore I was so mentally and physically exhausted to conduct the interview in a decent manner. And therefore at the end I failed to secure an offer because I wasn't mentally and physically prepared to conduct the interview, and therefore my performance was devastating, and at the end of the day that's what it is. Do not underestimate how tough the application process can be, and do not force an unbearable amount of burden on yourself, because that definitely jeopardize your chances of securing a good offer that from the universities that you truly dream of. Therefore, make sure that you are in the decent mental and physical situation when you are in any interviews or any assessment for your university application. And that's one of the most important lessons that I've derived from my own application process.
Is there anything you wish you had known before you applied?
It might sound contradictory to what I've just said, but on top of not underestimating the toughness of the whole application process, do not be intimidated by it either. The waiting process could be torturing, the numerous self-doubting moment could be insane, and the tough decision to press the submit button on UCAS is on top of all the toughest. But please be courageous and decisive in your application process, and that's definitely needed in your application. Another tip for most students, on the other hand, is in the selection of your course. Now, I know most of the people who are watching this video right now should more or less be deciding on what you have read or what you are going to read, but in British universities, a lot of universities do offer some extent of flexibility on switching courses after you have enrolled, but in no sense that the British universities offer flexibility on selection of courses like the American universities. Some of the courses title might sound very general, but some universities, the selection of specific courses when you are in that degree is definitely very limited, and therefore be sure of what you want to read and have a look at all the course offer under those degree titles, and only then decide on the degree that you want to read. You should be more cautious in terms of what you are going to select for your course and degree, and do not fall for the false prestige. So be sure of what you want to do not feel intimidated by it, and go for it.
Any final encouragement for those who are applying for PPE or a place in LSE in general?
I know LSE is notorious for being extremely selective in its admission process, but the school has often very clearly published its requirements and standards on its website. Do not feel intimidated by the application process if you truly love the courses offered by LSE and the environment that you can expect here. I can assure you though, here you will be able to meet some of the best peers in the world and listen from some of the best speakers and professors in the world, and that would definitely be worth the process. Go ahead and try your best. For that, I wish you all the best as well.
That's all for today's video. If you're interested in more genuine sharing by other geniuses, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Ding dong. Genie will see you in our next adventure. Bye bye.